When I ride around in Queens, it's unusual for me not to come across a spot where a cyclist was killed and I'm representing the family against the driver or other parties who caused the death. Came across the spot here on 21st Street in Long Island City, across the street from the post office, where I think it was in 2019, Aaron Padway, a carpenter, scenic artist in his 30s, was riding his bike home, and someone was dropping something off at the post office, just threw open their door after sitting in their car for a few minutes without looking, knocked him from his bike down to the ground and right underneath a box truck that was just about to start moving because the light was just about to change. Aaron had no chance, and the truck ran over and killed him. I learned a few lessons from that case. One is that doorings, which are the most common way for cyclists to get injured in New York City, and which commonly do not cause fatal injuries, They can cause a death through a second strike when the cyclist is knocked into the path of traffic. So it's just another reason for cyclists to take the lane, stay out of the dooring zone, because motorists just aren't paying attention. Too many of them think they're just like in a parking lot or something, and they can just do whatever they want, like as if they're in their driveway. Another thing I learned is that the operator of the truck was somebody who was unlicensed, and in fact had a history in which he had previously struck and severely injured another person. He was back behind the wheel, still without a license in this case, and he did stay, and the police came. But as it turns out, in New York, there is no law making it a crime to strike and injure or kill someone if you are never licensed. If you have been licensed but had your license suspended or revoked, if you injure or kill, then you've committed aggravated unlicensed operation, which is some kind of misdemeanor, if memory serves, a Class B misdemeanor. But if you've never gotten a license, you can go out and hurt people over and over and over again. And it's a traffic ticket and, maybe a higher insurance rate. This guy happened to have been on the job. He was working delivering bread. It was a sobering fact that in many cases, even the most extreme, harmful, and dangerous driving misconduct is not punishable as a crime. And as a result, police and the rest of the criminal law enforcement system just say it's not our job. What do you want us to do? It's a lawsuit, right? There's nothing more to do. Well, the fact is, the civil litigation system is not well suited to consistently applying meaningful consequences and holding drivers accountable. Too often, the civil justice system is just about collecting whatever insurance money there is. Most of the lawyers who are pursuing civil claims are not interested in doing the extra harder work of getting compensation beyond what the insurance provides. Often it's nowhere near what's called for by the amount of harm that was done. And the criminal justice system just says, not my job. So it's something that we really need to change, and we have the conditions for doing so here in New York. We have cases like Aaron's in which his father, who's really his only surviving relative, has stepped up. He has participated in activity to promote awareness of traffic violence, to increase accountability and consequences for drivers who injure or kill. And the many other families whose sites we may come across today have done the same. And it's really only by knitting together a movement composed of victims, those still alive after a fatal crash, one by one, that we can actually build a movement that's strong enough to change the equation on the streets. And until then, we're stuck with symbolic reminders, which I don't mean to denigrate. I used to go and be part of the Street Memorial Collective that does these installations of memorial bikes. I would repair them and chain them up and put up the signs and all the rest. It's part of our bike culture to remember the victims of traffic violence who died while cycling. And we're stronger for it. But we've got to use that as a foundation and bring together all the victims of traffic violence to make a change, or else it's just going to be more of the same year in and year out.